Hey there, my name is Crafty Kathy, and I am so happy and thankful that you came to spend your time to craft with me today. Let's jump on in. Sabby is introducing our first DIY of the day. In today's video, I'm going to show you some super easy DIYs that I make for just a couple of dollars. I think I might have about $2 in this first one, but the rest of them, I got supplies at one of those Amazon bin stores, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But first, I wanted to make a simple riser. I have this piece of scrap board, and it's 1.5 inches thick, and it's 1 foot long. And now I did get these feet from Hobby Lobby, and they were half off of $3.49, so that's like $1.75, and that's literally all I'm going to have in this very first craft. All I did was take this scrap piece of board outside and I sanded it down pretty good. I just eyeballed where I wanted the feet at, one in each corner. I put a little E6000 on each one and I put it down where I want it. I flipped it over and placed heavy objects on the riser and just left it alone overnight so that it would harden. The next morning when I came out, my riser was perfect and ready to go. So I put a little bit of antique Waverly wax in a little container. And I just added some water from my little water mister to make a stain. I added on my stain with a paintbrush, just very sloppily just added it on there, and I didn't add a whole lot. And I went right behind it with the baby wipe to kind of wipe off the excess and feather out that color to get it the way that I wanted it. Can you believe that we were going to throw this piece away? It was in the burn pile. It was just an old junk piece of wood. And look what a beautiful piece of decor it's turning out to be. Another place that comes to mind where you can get free wood is places where they're building homes. They'll just give you their scraps. And also Lowe's will either give to you or deeply discount stuff that they consider destroyed, but it only has a few minor imperfections. Now you'll notice I went over the top one more time and I went a little bit more heavier on the feet and on the sides. And let me just take a quick moment to welcome you, especially if this is the first time you've ever been to my channel, but also if you're a returning subscriber. I'm tickled pink to have every one of y'all. After I got it the color that I really liked, I decided that I was just going to leave it alone and let it dry by itself. And I left it alone for an hour or two so it could soak up that stain. Now the top part wasn't totally dry, and we need it to be. So I took my heat tool and I dried that part off because we're about to do one of my favorite things, which is decoupage, baby. I got this gorgeous decoupage paper from my friend Lori over at Milton's Daughter. Did you guys know that she sells other supplies besides paint and things like that? Just pretty much anything you need for crafting, Miss Lori has it. And I'm going to leave her link down below in case you guys need to go and get some supplies. Now, most of her stuff, she gives my viewers 10% off if you use the code CraftyCathy10. But with the decoupage papers and the paint, the distributors don't let them discount these, so she's not able to do it on these decoupage papers. But they're so cheap, they're just a couple dollars a piece and well worth it. I basically just laid it out because I only want it on the top, and I used my fingers to kind of press it down so I could see where I needed to cut to get closest to the sides around that little riser. I just cut it out where I had pressed it, and then I'm just going to lay it down and make sure that my position is exactly where I want it and get ready to do a little decoupaging. So I'm going to use my DIY liquid patina, which is pretty much a lot like Mod Podge. It's just a little bit thinner and I like it a lot better. And I put a little bit of a thicker coat than I normally do because on the decoupage papers, you want to make sure that it's going to hold on there and get a good grip. And you can always pick these decoupage papers up and move them, unlike a napkin. You know how easy a napkin can rip. Well, decoupage papers and rice papers don't rip as easy. And guess what, guys? You don't get wrinkles. So, I mean, they are well worth a couple of dollars that I spend for each one. When it was good and dry, I just went around it with one of the sanding sponges from the Dollar Tree. I'm doing that to just get that little excess that's kind of hanging over the side, because remember, I only want this on the very top portion. I also very, very lightly went over the very top so I could give it a more old and vintagey look. And then when I was finished with all this, I'm going to seal the entire piece in with Big Top by DIY Paint. So counting the decoupage paper and all, I have right under $5 in this DIY. And I plan to sell it between $18 and $22 in my booth. Let me know what you think about this first one. I love it.
It's Christmas. The fire crackling gently all the while. Snow is falling down. Guess everything's just right. But I'll be wishing you were here with me. Everywhere I go is Christmas.
With DIY number 2, I'm going to start out with this old crate that I've had for a long time. I got it at a thrift store years ago for only $1. Now the paper's peeling off of it and it looks really rough, so I took it outside and sanded that paper down to where it was just barely anything left. And I just spray painted it with 2 coats of just my white Rust-Oleum Ultra Matte ×2. And then I just kind of lightly sanded it back over to get out any imperfections. I'm going to use some stencils that I got last year off of Amazon. I always get the ones that are 12 by 12 because they're just easier to make signs with. And here's the one that I picked to go on this crate. It says Fresh Cut Christmas Trees, Holiday Greens, Cut and Carry, Pine, Spruce, and Fir. Now, I don't think I used this one at all last year because it still looked brand new. And the only part that I can fit on the side is that part that says Cut and Carry and the picture of the Christmas trees. So I've got my DIY paint in Gypsy Green, which is my favorite green color. And I have my favorite little stencil brush. It's my favorite one. I use it every time. It's important to have a good stencil brush, and I'm just going to do my trees green. I like to use my DIY paint when I'm stenciling because it's clay-based and because it's thick, so you don't get any bleed through, if any at all. And if you just have just a very little bit on your brush and you do this pouncing motion, just tap, 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 then you're not going to get any bleed through. Now, the part that says Cut and Carry, I just did that with my Rich Black, and it is by Home Decor. It's a folk art brand that you can get at Walmart. I really like this black color. It's like dark and almost velvety. This is what I'm actually using for the front of the crate, and on the side of the crate where it has the 2 little slats, at the top part, I'm going to put in the Gypsy Green Holiday Greens, and then in black, I'm going to do the words Pine, Spruce, and Fir on the little slat underneath that. I went to one of those Amazon bin stores this past week, and I got there on their dollar day. I found each of these trees for $1 a piece. They originally came from the Target dollar spot for $5 a piece. Now, I'm not sure why these were in the Amazon bins, but I noticed several things from Target in there, so I think they got last year's Christmas leftovers. And hey, I'll take it for $1 a piece because these are gorgeous trees and they're flocked and they're really pretty. Now, these Amazon bin stores are popping up everywhere. I noticed that Do It on a Dime did a story about them the other day. They have they start off on one day where it's like a certain price, and each day the price goes down. And it's new inventory every week. So you could either pay somewhere between $14 to $7 on your first day, and then go all the way down to like 25 cents on your last day. At my store, there's nothing over $7, and it goes down to 25 cents. So I got there on the dollar day, and I was very happy to find these two trees. They were the last two they had, or I would have purchased more. So I just put a little bit of hot glue down, and I'm going to stick my trees down so that they hold one kind of front and one in the back, almost kind of catty corner where you can still see both of them. I am so happy that I stopped in on that store the other day. I mean, something just told me to stop in and give it a go for a minute and just kind of look around, and I am so glad I did. I had to fluff the trees out a little bit because they were in bags. And then I took two of these little pre-made bows that I get from Walmart. They're the black and white buffalo check, and I'm just going to put two little black buttons, one in the middle of each one. And I'm just simply going to use the back of these. It's like a bread tie, and I'm just going to tie it around the very top of the tree and twist it 1 or 2 times, and then cut off the remainder with my pliers. Then I took some white pillow stuffing that I had, and it's actually like down feathers and stuffing. I didn't have any of the fluff that, the fake snow stuff, so I used this. It's just as good. And I put it down in the bottom, and then I'm just going to take one of my picks that I got from Walmart, and first I put down a couple little pine cones in there. Then I take the little pick that I got from Walmart. It was $1.28. I kind of put it a little catty corner in the side. And then look at this cute little reindeer I got for 98 cents at Walmart. I'm going to set him right up on the top, and I'm actually going to glue him down by his little feet so he will stand up on the side of the box. It had a little wire underneath it right in the very center, and with the little gentle pull, I pulled that right off. And then I'm going to take some Mod Podge. All I had was gloss, but that'll be fine. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to put it underneath the reindeer and add fake snow from Dollar Tree to make it look like he's standing in the snow. And I like that so well, I ran it all the way along that rail where his feet are at. I also added a little bit of Mod Podge in different spots on these trees, and I sprinkled fine white and clear glitter over the top of it, just so when it hits the light in a certain way, it's going to look like snow glistening, and it's very little. I got this ornament from Walmart in a pack of like 12 for I think $3 or something, and it's silver bells, or it's actually bells, and I painted it silver. And then I have this little snowflake that came from the Dollar Tree, and I painted it silver. And I put a little bit of the Mod Podge and the glitter on those also. At Christmas, you can never have enough glitter. Then I'm taking some of these small berries. They're the little red berries that came from the Dollar Tree. And I just clipped the little wires off the back of them. And I'm simply just going to glue them just here and there on both of the trees. So I only have $3 in this DIY. If you count up all the little embellishments, maybe $3.25 or $3.50. And I plan to sell this for at least $20, probably more around $24. Let me know what you think about this one.
Brightly shining, it's the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth.
For the last DIY, I'm going to use this canvas print. I got it at a yard sale for only $1. It's probably about a 16 by 20, but it may be just a hair bit smaller. I needed the front part to be white, and I was in a hurry, so I just took it outside and used my Rust-Oleum ×2 matte white, and I gave it a couple coats. And the frame part was originally kind of a golden color, and I don't do any gold much at all. So I used the rich black and went over the frame with 2 coats.
Oh, night divine. Oh, night divine. Led by the light of faith, serenely beaming, glowing heart.
I'm going to use those same Christmas stencils that I was telling you that I had from last year. This one says Jingle All the Way. And for the word jingle, I'm going to go over the top of the frame, and I'm going to use my Imperial Red by Home Decor. And here I'm just using one of my extra little stencil brushes. And just in case you want to know which ones of these stencils that I have, I've got them in my Amazon store under stencils. Then down the left-hand side of the canvas, I'm going to do the words all the way in that rich black color, and I'm using that same stencil brush. At the Amazon bin store, I found this deer head. And this actually was from Hobby Lobby, and it had $5 on it, or $4.99 was the price on it. But of course, I got it for just $1, and I'm painting it that rich black color. So I suppose that this little Amazon store that I went to had Amazon leftover stuff, but they also buy out stores if they don't sell all their product. I took 3 of those wood rounds that come from the Dollar Tree that come out in the fall, and I'm just very quickly painting the sides of these with the rich black color. And then I'm going to take those and I'm going to glue them to the back of this deer, the 3 of those, because I want my deer to stick out from this sign and be 3D. So then I'm going to just glue him down right under the word jingle. I took a pick that I got from Walmart for $1.28. Well, first I stuck down this little piece of cedar, and it's just a scrap. And then the little pick that was $1.28 from the Walmart. And I glued them down, but they're also going in between those little wood rounds, so they will be held really good. I took one of my little pre-made bows that I got from Walmart, and I already had a button on it because I was going to use it for a different DIY, but I never did finish that DIY, so this is perfect for his little bow tie. I think at most I have about $2 in this one, and I plan to sell it for $24 in my store. So let me know what you think about this one and if you like it. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what in the world are you waiting for? Hit that little red subscribe button and become a part of our family. We would love to have you, and we always have room for more. And if you would, please hit the like button. That's the big thumbs up button, because it really helps me out on YouTube. Represent our faith. Look at that gorgeous little church right in the middle of that hoop with all those flowery beautifulness. Okay, so this is one of those 18-inch wreath forms from the Dollar Tree, and all I want is that inner circle. So I got out my clippers and I'm going to clip it down until I only have that one inner circle. Now I have one of these trays that come from the Dollar Tree. I took it outside and I spray painted it with some flat black. It was the Rust-Oleum 2x flat black spray. And what I intend to do is take my hoop and I'm going to glue it right in the center of that tray. So I put down a pretty good amount of glue right in the middle, and I'm going to put my hoop right down and hold it for a few minutes until the glue totally dries. Also, while the glue was sitting there, I kind of piled it on the top part of that wreath too, because you're not going to see it and you don't want that booger coming off there. I took that floral foam and kind of smushed it down because it formed around that wreath when I pushed it down. And I've got some of these gorgeous lights that company On For You sent me. I'll leave those in the link below in case anybody wants some of those. They're little fairy lights and they're very easy to work with for your Christmas projects. So what I'm going to do is wrap this all the way around this little wreath here. While I'm wrapping these lights, I just want to tell you guys that I hope y'all have a fantabulous Thanksgiving with your families and that you have some good quality time together. Stay healthy, and I love you guys, and I'm thankful for every one of you. Now, anything in this video that I mentioned that I get from Amazon is going to be linked down below. So if you can't find it, just ask me. But the next thing that we're going to put on are these cedar picks that I did get from Amazon. And I put about 3 on each side. And when you put something on one side, you want to put the exact same stem on the opposite side because it just goes. That's just how you do things. So you want to put about 3 or 4 cedar little twigs on each side. Then I have these beautiful pine twigs, and I put 2 of those on each side. And like I said, you just put them in the exact same spot. I have these beautiful magnolias, and by the time this DIY is finished, I didn't even use these magnolias, but they're one of my favorite flowers, and I just had this thought in my mind. I thought it was going to be so beautiful, and it was pretty, don't get me wrong, but I think it was prettier without. But just to let you know, I cut those down really short, and just since it's got a wire in it, I wrapped it around that wire. And I put some red berries, and I got these berries at Walmart. You know, they have those picks that are just 98 cents that like go in your tree or whatever. I put down 2 of the red berries on one side, and like I said, on the opposite side, I put down 2 berries. It didn't take a whole lot of greenery. It was very simple, but very Christmassy and beautiful. And guys, very farmhouse and country. Just awesome. So I fooled around with these magnolias forever to try to get them perfect. And then it's kind of crazy that I didn't even use them. Then I added a stem of these white berries in. And these white berries came from the Dollar Tree. And I have 2 medium-sized pine cones that I got from my yard. They're just a perfect medium size. They're not the great big giant ones. They're not the little tiny ones. And they have already look like they have snow falling on them, so I didn't have to do anything to them. And now my favorite part, the church. I got this little church at Walmart. It's actually an ornament. I think it was $1.98. So I wanted a light in this church because, it's got a glow, right? So I cut a hole in the back. I had to cut almost the whole back of the church off. And I just stuck one of my little tea lights in there. And it's beautiful when it glows and flickers. It's so pretty. And I have some white fabric that I picked up at Walmart for just $2. It's fabric that feels like a baby blanket. And I thought, okay, we're going to lay this across this floral foam, and we're going to set our church right down in the center, which, guys, the church is what tied all this in. Just like here in the country, like I said, our family and our faith, but more than anything, our faith is what ties us together. Okay, so I just cut a good size square out in the middle of my fabric so I could just lay it down and around the area where the church is. And that's exactly what I did. And don't anybody ask, I am wearing my pajamas in this clip, so you know what? At least I got something on, okay? That's all I'm going to say for that day. So it was a pajama kind of day, okay? So I just laid this down. Now, you know those little fairy lights have a little bitty tiny light that you flip on and off in the back, and it discreetly hid right underneath this white fabric. I took this ornament that says faith, and I put it right in the middle in front of that church. I did glue it down with my hot glue. I got this at the Dollar General for just $1, and it's really pretty. To me, the quality is better than those that come from the Dollar Tree, and it's very similar to the ones that are at the Dollar Tree. Then I just set my pine cones in place. I put those 2 medium pine cones, 1 on each side, and then I put a smaller pine cone right beside that. And then I took these little laser cut die things that come from the Dollar Tree, and I picked the star, and I'm going to place it right in the center, right over the church. And wouldn't you know it, one of those lights was right in the very center. So where I put the star at, it has the light behind it. It was like it was meant to be.
The stars are brightly shining. It's the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth.
Number 2 is this word joy, and I got this from the Hobby Lobby. It says $5.99, but you know everything's half off, so it was only $3, and it's a good size and it's beautiful. So I took my star and I painted it with my white home decor chalk paint. Now I didn't give it a good solid coat because I kind of wanted it to be distressed and country looking, and where you could still see a little bit of that brown through that.
The angel voice says, "Oh night divine, the night when Christ was born. Oh night divine."
I'm trying this new paint by Folk Art. It is a primer and an acrylic paint, and it's called Aged Pine. So what I did was I did the J and the Y in this beautiful green color. I first just went over it like I did the white, kind of halfway, you know, kind of wishy-washy like. And then I thought, yeah, but what if you can see through that? So I went ahead and just did the whole letters.
So lit by light are stars sweetly gleaming. Here come the wise men from Orient land. The king.
I have 2 pieces of cardstock, and these came out of that pack that I got off of Amazon, and it is in my Amazon store. I'm going to put this beautiful holly paper over the J, and then I'm going to do over the Y that red and white striped.
Of kings lay thus lowly manger in all our trials, born to be our friend.
I have this gorgeous napkin with this mama sheep and her little baby sheep, and I just think it's so adorable, and we're going to put that over the star, and that's where the friends and family comes in and our pets.
Oh, fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voice say.
When you're working with napkins, the most important thing to remember is you take it down to 1 ply. Most napkins have 2 pieces to them, like a front and a back, and you peel that front piece off. That's your 1 ply. And then you don't have to have this roller, guys. You can even use a cup from your kitchen. The most important thing is to get that saran wrap out or some kind of plastic and lay it down over it and use that pressure from that roller or the cup or whatever, and you won't have a single wrinkle in your napkin. I promise you, and practice makes perfect. I'm a good example of that.
Oh,
Not being perfect, just a lot of practice.
divine, the night.
When you lay that saran wrap down, you can use your fingers too to smooth out any
Oh,
wrinkles.
night divine. Oh, night when Christ was born.
I just used a sanding sponge and some sanding paper to get any of the edges of that napkin off that were still on there, and it makes a perfect edge every time. Just always remember to sand in a downward motion away from yourself, or you can pull that napkin up. I used my X-Acto knife to go around that J and that Y, and it got that cardstock off perfectly. But when there was a little bit of hangover in some spots, I just used my sanding sponge, and just like before, it makes a perfect edge. Sometimes a nail file is really good to get in those very small spots too, by the way. When I got it all cleaned up, I went over everything with my satin Mod Podge to seal it in real good. I have some little picks that I ordered off of Amazon. They're very small. They just have like 2 little pine cones and 3 little berries and a tiny little piece of pine on it. And I'm going to put one on each side of my star. And then I'm going to put one on my J and one on my Y. And I'm also going to add this beautiful pre-made bow. I get these from Walmart. They're $4 for, I think, 12 of them. And I just absolutely love these because you don't have to make bows. All you got to do is just cut the ends off if you want a dovetail, which that's what I'm doing here. I'm making my little dovetail, and I stick that right in the center of those 2 picks that I got from Amazon. And then I'm going to take a little silver bell that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I always kind of embellish my bows by sticking something right in the middle of it, and that's where I'm going to put that little bell. I just clip the ends of these little picks off because it's a little bit long and it's brown. It's where all the wires come together to hold everything together. And I just clip those off to the point where it's still going to hold everything together, and that's where I glue it down at. Now I'm going to take my satin Mod Podge and I'm going to put it just kind of all over the tops of the Y, the J, and I'm also going to put it on the star, and I'm even going to add a little bit in the greenery in those little picks because we're going to put some faux snow there. I get this fake snow from the Dollar Tree, and I really like it. It's the kind that looks like the little crystals, and you can also use Epsom salt, which is beautiful for fake snow. And I just kind of lay whatever I'm putting the snow on over the top of my little bucket there. That way the excess will just fall back into that bucket. Now I put it all over the place where if it was snowing, where it would actually fall on those letters. Here I've got some of that little diamond wrap that comes from the Dollar Tree, and it's that kind, it's got a sticky back on it. And I just felt like the Y and the J needed a little something extra to pop, and I'm just outlining in going down the middle the Y and the J so it'll pop out. That's all I did to this set, and it turned out beautiful, y'all.
Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased.
You know, I'm plumb sick and tired of the way these kids are doing these days. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to get a job. All they want to do is lay up and sleep all day and keep having babies to bring home to their mamas to take care of. Back in my day, I walked 30 miles in the snow with no shoes on just to go to school. I did have a baby at a young age, but I took care of my own. And I still take care of my own. I stand by my word. Gladys, get out of that refrigerator. Why are you always eating? No wonder why you're big as a house. Plus, the electric bill's gonna be sky high. Golly. I don't know about these people. I'll be glad when the good Lord takes me on. This world has gone mad. plumb mad.
Hey, don't forget that my videos are every Monday and Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I sure do hope to see you in the next, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. If you did enjoy this video, here's another one that has very similar content. All you have to do is click on it, and when this one's finished, it'll take you right to that one. And did you know that you can just click on my face to subscribe to my channel? You sure can. God bless you and your families.